Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 2014 Ohio 4-H Health and Safety Speaking Individual Contests. We have senior individuals and junior individuals today that are very excited to get those speeches done. And we have, everyone is here. We start on time. It is 3 p.m. by my watch. The judges are set, so I think we're ready to go. We do want to thank the Ohio Rural Electric Cooperatives for being our statewide donor for this contest. We're so appreciative of, have you gotten any thank you cards? Yeah. Good. I've got some more in my little card over here to give you. This is Adam Speck. Adam represents the OREC, and we're just so thankful that you are our state donor and give the 4-H kids this opportunity to participate and to grow in their skills. He's going to give a brief set of comments. He can't stay for the awards program today, but he's going to speak briefly after the last speaker. So we'll anxiously await that.
As you wait for your child to come home from school, who would ever imagine the day could end in a tragedy or a near tragedy? Visualize with me. The school bus stops. It has activated its red lights and the stop sign is deployed as it prepares to let a student off the bus. Suddenly, a car from behind comes around the right side of the bus, on the berm, just beside the door, right as the student is ready to step off. This exact situation happened to a family friend. Luckily, the bus driver was alert and aware of what was going on and reached out for the student just before she stepped off the bus into the path of the passing car. This happens all too often in our small rural community where my mom is the transportation secretary at our local school district. This past year at Garraway Local Schools, 8 drivers were reported for running red lights on stopped school buses. However, for every one that is reported, there are many more that are not reported because the bus driver was unable to get the license plate number before the car drove away. Ohio law states that when any school bus is stopping to receive or drop off children, all other motorists must stop within 10 feet of the front and back of where the bus is stopped. Drivers are not to resume movement until the bus begins moving or the motorist is signaled by the bus driver. Penalties for not obeying the law regarding stopped school buses include fines of up to $500 and a maximum 1-year suspension of a driver's license. While school buses remain incredibly safe, students who ride buses are most vulnerable when they are outside of the bus in the danger zone as pedestrians. 24% of bus-related injuries involve getting on and off the bus. And according to School Transportation News, while an average of 7 school-age passengers are killed in bus crashes every year, 19 are killed getting on and off the bus. Most of these children are just 5 to 7 years old. A survey conducted by the National Association of State Directors of Pupil Transportation Services reports that in 2013, 29 states throughout America requested that school bus operators choose one day to observe and report any time motorists illegally pass their stopped school buses while displaying their lights and stop arm. Around 108,000 bus drivers reported over 80,000 vehicles pass their buses illegally on that one day. The Ohio Highway Patrol reports more than 15 million violations by private motorists throughout a 180-day school year. In 2013, Tuscarawas County had 21 convictions for passing stopped school buses. Every county in Ohio had at least 3, and as many as 1,300 convictions just last year. What precautions can drivers take in areas where buses are present? Let me share 4 of them with you. 1. Slow down in school zones. 2. Check when backing out of driveways for children traveling to or from school. 3. Be aware of children who may dart into the roadway trying to catch the bus. And number 4, understand what flashing lights on buses mean. Yellow indicates the bus will stop soon, and red lights mean the bus is stopped and cars may not pass. Students also need to be aware of what is going on around their surroundings as they wait to board a bus or unload, especially if they need to cross in front of the bus. If you're a student, be sure to stop, look, and listen. Take 5 giant steps in front of the bus, about 10 feet, in order to ensure the driver can see you clearly. Make eye contact with the bus driver and wait until they signal that it is safe to cross. The goal of all these precautions is to prevent serious injuries and deaths caused by accidents. Going back to school can be a fun and exciting time for many children, but just one careless, distracted, or impatient driver can ruin that for an entire family. Any driver who chooses to illegally pass a stop school bus is gambling with a child's life. I hope that you can take home these tips and help make travel on the roadways safer for everyone. And remember, stay back from the yellow and black. Thank you.
In 2013, the U.S. Coast Guard reported 3,092 boating accidents, resulting in 300 deaths and over $39 million worth of property damage. So, if you ever go boating, what precautions should you take? First, you should tell a close friend or family member where you are going and when you expect to be back by. If you are not back by the time you said you would be back by, they will have a search party looking for you sooner. Second, the second thing you should do is make sure you have a cell phone with you. That way, if you do run into trouble, you can call for help yourself. Third, you should have an emergency kit on your boat. Your emergency kit should include a basic first aid kit for minor injuries, extra food and water in case you're stranded for a longer period of time. You can't drink the water from the river, lake, or pond you are boating on because it has parasites that may cause diseases. Fourth, you should have extra parts and tools you may need to make minor repairs on your boat, as well as extra personal flotation devices, PFDs for short. PFDs are also known as life jackets, and they can save your life. Everyone on your boat should wear their PFD. So, this is the precautions my family takes when we go boating on the Mad River every year. Luckily, the worst that has ever happened is a flipped canoe. This was when I was 5 and happened because my grandpa didn't want his canoe to be scratched, so got out to try and keep it from scratching on the bottom of the river, flipping my grandma and me into the cold Mad River, as my brother, who at the time was 3, was in the boat with my mom and dad saying that it is a bad, bad, bad idea. So, if you go boating, I hope you will remember those things. Tell someone where you're going. Wear your life jacket. Have an emergency kit, and bring a phone with you. Thank you for your attention.
Imagine a world where you go to a birthday party, there's no cake. Or in the morning, you go to the cupboard, there's no cereal or donuts ready to eat. Well, this is what someone with celiac disease feels like nearly every day. That is because people with celiac disease cannot tolerate gluten, the protein found in wheat, rye, and barley. If a person with celiac disease eats even a small amount of gluten, their bodies will greatly be affected. Today, the 4 main questions that I'll address and answer are: 1, how many people have celiac disease? 2, the signs and symptoms of celiac disease that are most common. 3, once these signs are detected, ways to diagnose them. And my 4th and final point is how a person's diet and lifestyle is affected. According to the Celiac Disease Foundation, this affects 1 in 133 people in the United States. That's roughly 1% of the U.S.'s population. Now, this may not sound like a lot, but that's over 3 million people who have this disease. However, of those people diagnosed, only 5% know they have it. So you may ask why it matters if a person knows they have celiac disease. Well, it can be very harmful, possibly even deadly. When a person with celiac disease eats foods that contain gluten, their bodies respond by destroying villi, the tiny finger-like protrusions lining the small intestine. Villi normally allows nutrients from food to be absorbed through the small intestinal wall into the bloodstream. Without healthy villi, a person becomes malnourished, no matter how much food one eats. Celiac disease is both a disease of malabsorption, meaning nutrients are not properly absorbed, and an abnormal immune reaction to gluten. Celiac disease is genetic, meaning it runs in families. Sometimes this disease is triggered after surgery, pregnancy, childbirth, viral infection, or severe emotional stress. Now that I have addressed my first main point about celiac disease, let's move on to my second, which the signs and symptoms of celiac disease can differ from person to person depending on how it's triggered. There are more than 300 symptoms of celiac disease. One person might have diarrhea and abdominal pain. One other person might have irritability and fatigue. Some people may have no signs or symptoms at all. These differences make it extremely hard to diagnose, and resulting in 95% of those people going undiagnosed or misdiagnosed. The most common symptoms are diarrhea, constipation, irritability, and depression. Some people may have no signs or symptoms at all, but can still develop complications over time. Long-term complications include malnutrition, which can lead to anemia, miscarriage, and osteoporosis, among with other such problems such as liver disease and cancer of the intestines. Once a person knows these symptoms and are aware of these, they should go to a specialty clinic such as Nationwide Children's Hospital, where they can diagnose you. They will do this because recognizing celiac disease can be difficult, because some of its symptoms can be similar to those of other diseases. As doctors become more aware of the many different symptoms and reliable blood tests become more available, diagnosis rates are increasing. There are two common ways to diagnose a person, which is my next main point. The first way to diagnose a person is a blood test. People with celiac disease have higher than normal levels of certain autoantibodies, proteins that react against the body's own cells or tissues in the bloodstream. To diagnose celiac disease, doctors will check for high levels of anti-tissue transglutaminase antibodies, or TGA. If test results are negative, but celiac disease is still suspected, additional blood tests may be needed. Before being tested, a person should continue to eat a gluten-based diet, such as breads and pastas. If a person stops eating these foods before being tested, test results may come back negative, even if the disease is present. The second way to diagnose a person is an internal biopsy. If blood tests and symptoms suggest a person has celiac disease, an internal biopsy is used to confirm this diagnosis. If a person is then diagnosed with celiac disease, what do? Well, this leads me to my final point. Once a person realizes what they can and can't have, a doctor may ask a newly diagnosed person to work with a dietitian on a gluten-free diet plan. Someone with celiac disease can learn a lot from a dietitian, such as how to read ingredient lists or make more informed decisions when going to the grocery store or eating out. In the United States, the Food and Drug Administration now requires at the bottom of any packaged food, they'll have to list the 8 main food allergens. Wheat or gluten is a major food allergen, and if the food contains wheat or gluten, it'll have to be put at the bottom of the label in bold letters. This makes it much easier for a person to understand what has wheat or gluten, as well as a consumer being more informed of what is in their food. For most people, following this diet will stop symptoms, heal existing intestinal damage, and prevent further damage. Improvement begins within days of starting this diet. The small intestine usually heals in 3 to 6 months in children, but may take several years in adults. A healed small intestine means a person now has the villi that can properly absorb nutrients into the bloodstream. How do I know so much about this disease? Because at the age of 9, I was diagnosed with celiac disease. I was very lucky to find out about it so early, so I could learn to tolerate these changes at such a young age. Through my discoveries of having celiac disease, my brothers and mom have also changed to a gluten-free diet plan and have had their problems relieved. Now that I've addressed celiac disease, answer me this question. It can't hurt if you eat just a little bit. Will it? Thank you.
Swing, batter, batter. Heads up. Hike. These are the sounds of youth sports across the country, with many of the 35 million American youth who play organized sports each year, starting to play as young as 4 years old, according to statisticbrain.com. We learn the importance of teamwork, sportsmanship, and how to win with class and lose with dignity, all while improving our health with regular exercise. But with all those benefits come the possibility of injury and the fear of concussions. Even President Barack Obama has been quoted saying he would have to think long and hard before letting his son play football because of the concussion risk. So what is a concussion, and what are the signs and symptoms of having one? A concussion is damage to the brain that changes the way your brain works. It can be caused by getting a blow to the head or by hitting something very hard, causing the brain to shift inside the skull, knocking against the skull's bony surface. This knocking against the skull sends more than 400,000 American youth to the U.S. emergency rooms every year, with youth sports causing 21% of these concussions, according to kidshealth.org. How hard the brain was jarred would determine the symptoms they experience, so watch if they appear groggy or dazed. They may tell you they feel like they are in a fog or be shaky and dizzy if they try to walk around right away. They can also lose consciousness. However, they do not have to be knocked out to have a concussion. In fact, less than 1 out of 10 concussions result in a loss of consciousness, according to the Ohio Department of Health. Last year, I joined the 25% of youth baseball players estimated to be injured yearly by the U.S. Department of Health. I chipped several teeth and my face was a bloody mess, but I was lucky and did not receive a concussion. This year, one of my friends took a similar hit, breaking both nasal cavities, receiving a concussion, and requiring surgery. Our injuries were very similar in appearance to those watching our games, but very different in severity. I played again the next inning. My friend has missed the entire season. So please, never judge an injury by its appearance. Know that a concussion is damage to the brain that changes the way your brain works, and watch for symptoms such as headaches, dizziness, and appearing dazed or confused. Heads up, adults involved in youth sports. Over 35 million young athletes are counting on you to protect them and their brains. Thank you.
Ellen Garner was a 20-year-old fashion design student at the University of Cincinnati in Hamilton County. She learned how to sew and found her love of fashion through her 4-H projects. She was described as hardworking with a bubbly personality, and she was just at the beginning of her career. But on January 1st, 2013, that all changed. On New Year's Eve, Ellen decided to spend the night with a few friends in a rental house just off the UC campus. The next morning, a space heater caught fire. As the fire spread, Ellen and her 21-year-old friend Chad Coles were trapped in a 3rd-story bedroom. The only window to this room had no fire escape and was blocked by an air conditioning unit, leaving them no choice but to try to escape through a stairwell that was filled with toxic smoke. When the fire department arrived, it was already too late for Chad and Ellen, who were found unconscious. On January 14th, Ellen died of smoke inhalation, and just a week earlier, Chad had also died of smoke inhalation. It was later discovered that the rental house they were staying in was not properly equipped with enough fire escapes, unblocked windows, or properly placed smoke alarms. According to the United States Fire Administration, over 3,400 people each year are killed, and over 17,500 more are injured in house fires in the U.S. each year. By the time I finish giving this speech, around 4 house fires will have occurred in the United States, with one happening every 85 seconds. Sadly, many of these fires could be prevented by taking easy and simple precautions. Know how to keep you and your family safe from the dangers of house fires by remembering the word fire. F, form a plan. Form a fire escape plan for your family. This plan should include at least 2 exits, such as a window and a door, for each room in the home. All exits should be easy to get to and easy to open. Decide on a meeting place outside your home where your family can go after exiting the house. Run the fire drill with them and make sure everyone knows it. I, install smoke alarms. Installing smoke alarms is easy and inexpensive, with most alarms costing less than $10. At least 1 alarm should be on each level of the floor, including the basement and the attic. 1 should be located 10 feet outside of the kitchen, and there should be at least 1 outside of each sleeping area. Smoke alarms are only effective if they are properly maintained. Batteries should be checked monthly, and they should be changed once a year. R, remove fire hazards from the home. In the kitchen, towels and pot holders should be kept away from the stovetop, and appliances like coffee makers and microwaves should be plugged into separate outlets. Throughout the house, extension cords should not be across doorways or under carpets, and all cords should be in good condition without breaks or frays. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention says that most house fires occur during winter months. To stay safe and warm, furnaces and fireplaces should be serviced and inspected annually. Space heaters should be kept at least 3 feet away from anything flammable. They should never be used while an adult is not present in the room and should never be used while sleeping. E, Educate your family on why fire is dangerous. Fire can become deadly in seconds. Even a small spark can ignite an entire house in minutes, and the smoke produced in this fire can become toxic because it contains poisonous gases. Breathing in any amount of this smoke can cause you to become drowsy and disoriented. The heat of a fire is actually more dangerous than the flames. The United States Fire Administration says that the temperature of a room can be 100 degrees at floor level and 600 degrees at eye level, so stay low when exiting the house. Involve your whole family in preventing fires by also educating them on the precautions that they can take. The campaign, Letters for Chad and Ellen, was started to encourage Cincinnati officials to require stricter regulations for off-campus and rental housing throughout the city. More unobstructed exits, fire escapes for upper-level rooms, and properly placed smoke alarms are just a few of the requirements that are being considered. Through organ donation, Ellen saved several lives, including 2 8-year-old girls, and now her story is saving even more. The tragic deaths of Ellen Garner and Chad Coles show us just how important fire safety and prevention is. Know how to be prepared for fires by remembering the word fire, forming a plan, installing smoke alarms, removing fire hazards, and educating your family can help keep you and your family safe from the dangers of fire. Thank you.
Did you know? Not listening to your mom can hurt really badly? Well, I found out the hard way. Every day when I would ride my bike, my mom would always tell me to wear my bike helmet and be careful. But one warm day this spring, I went outside and jumped on my bike after my mom had told me not to, and began riding down the driveway as fast as I could go. But when I got closer to the bottom of the driveway, I saw something but ignored it anyway. But little did I know, the rain we had the night before washed out some of the stones in the driveway. And when I hit that spot, I lost control of my bike and crashed. Started crying, wishing I had listened to my mom. My mom saw the whole thing from the house and came running out to help. A 9-year-old girl with a scrape on her forehead, 2 bloody knees, and let's not forget 2 scraped hands and elbows. Get back to the house. After some cleanup, a lot of bandages, and a couple of, honey, you have to listen to what I said. I knew from then on I would always be more careful on my bike and follow these safety tips. 1. Have the right size bike. 2. Wear the proper shoes and bike helmet. 3. Don't go too fast. 4. Watch for people and things in your path. And 5. Ride on the right side of the road. I was very lucky that day because my injuries weren't severe. I could have easily become a statistic. Did you know in the USA about 3,000 go to the emergency room because of bike injuries? Our county has much lower rates, but still too many in 2012. A total of 726 bicycle injuries were killed in the USA. According to Pedestrian Bicycle Information Center, the number of bicycle injuries has jumped up from 480 to 490 in the past year. A third of all bicycle injuries are caused when bikes are hit by cars. Don't ever say an accident can't happen to you. Because in the USA, accidents happen every 7 minutes to anyone, anywhere. That is why you should always remember my 5 safety tips. 1. Have the right size bike. 2. Wear the proper shoes and bike helmet. 3. Don't go too fast. 4. Watch for people and things in your path. And 5. Ride on the right side of the road. Please listen to your mom and my bike safety tip rules. It could save a few tears and a lot of bandages. Thank you.
I think that I speak for everyone here when I say that click it or ticket has been a commonly heard phrase within the past few years. Many teenagers, and even some adults, find this phrase to be annoying and don't see why it's important to wear a seatbelt. Perhaps if these people understood what a seatbelt does and why it is so important, they would be more inclined to wear one. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, seatbelts are the single most effective safety mechanism within a vehicle. It is proven that wearing a seatbelt reduces your risk of death or injury by 50%. But what is a seatbelt? Well, dictionary.com defines a seatbelt as a belt or strap used for protection, especially in a vehicle or an aircraft. In a regular car, a seatbelt will go across one's lap. It will also go across one's body, starting from the shoulder and going to the hip on the opposite side of their body. This design keeps someone in their seat and prevents them from being thrown from or inside their vehicle in the event of an accident. This is why seatbelts are so important. It is also why many states are developing the Click It or Ticket campaign. According to the nationalsafetycouncil.org, 49 states and the District of Columbia have developed laws that make it mandatory for anyone within a vehicle to be wearing their seatbelt. Ohio is one of these states, and Mahoning County has begun to do many things to raise seatbelt awareness. The police chief is quoted as saying that the main purpose of the Click It or Ticket movement is to raise seatbelt awareness and protect people. This is why many police departments are beginning to partner with area high schools to ensure that high school students are wearing their seatbelt whenever they're in a vehicle. South Range High School, my high school, is one of the schools that has begun to do this. This past year, the police officer who works at my school talked to each of the students who drive on a regular basis. While talking with us, he explained the importance of wearing a seatbelt. He also gave us bumper stickers and magnets that said "Click It or Ticket," so that whenever we saw them, we would be reminded to wear our seatbelts. He also stood by the entrance of our school one morning, and as we drove by, if we were wearing our seatbelt, we were given a coupon for a free Chick-fil-A sandwich. Because of the Click It or Ticket campaign, seatbelt usage has raised to 87%. As a newly licensed driver, I always make it a point to wear my seatbelt whenever I'm driving. But I also make it a point to wear it if I'm in the car with someone else and I'm not driving. Unfortunately, 13% of people within a vehicle do not do this. That is why in the past year, 49 Mahoning Valley residents died in a car accident. Vincent Yunez, a 7-year-old boy, was one of these people. He was driving in a car, and the driver was expected to be intoxicated. The driver went through a red light, swerved to miss oncoming traffic, and in the process flipped the vehicle onto its left side. Vincent was thrown from his seat and ultimately from the vehicle itself. It is thought that had he been wearing his seatbelt, he would have survived the accident. Another Mahoning Valley resident who died in a car accident because they weren't wearing their seatbelt was Caitlin Yeager. Caitlin was on her way to visit relatives on Christmas Day with her mother, father, and brother. An oncoming car hit a patch of black ice and lost control, hitting their car head on. Caitlin's father was driving and her mother was in the passenger seat. Caitlin and her brother were sitting in the back. She was the only person in the entire accident not wearing a seatbelt. She was also the only person who died. She was 19 years old, and Caitlin was my friend. I can tell you from personal experience that not wearing your seatbelt does not only affect you, it affects your family and your friends too. I often think about it, how if she would have just worn her seatbelt, how she would have survived. How if she would have taken the few seconds necessary to buckle up, how she would have lived and how I still would have had my friend today. Seatbelts save lives. It is proven that wearing your seatbelt reduces your risk of death or injury in an accident by 50%. It is a major problem that we face today that 13% of people within a vehicle still do not wear their seatbelts. Most states and police departments have adopted the Click It or Ticket campaign to solve this problem. Perhaps if that 13% understood what a seatbelt does and why it is so important, they would be more inclined to buckle up. So, now that you all know this information and you all understand why it's so important, next time you're in a vehicle, remember, click it or ticket. Thank you.
Let me set the scene for you. It's a warm summer night, and you're sitting in your patio sipping a lemonade. The moon glistening off the pool's water, and smack! You get bit by a mosquito. Mosquitoes are the deadliest animals on Earth. That's right. More deaths are associated with mosquitoes than any other animal on the planet. Mosquitoes may carry any number of deadly diseases, including malaria, yellow fever, and West Nile virus. Only female mosquitoes bite humans and animals. Males feed off of flower nectar. Mosquitoes mean nothing personal when they take your blood. They need protein for their eggs and must take a blood meal in order to reproduce. Since males don't bear the burden of reproducing young, they'll avoid you completely and head for the flowers instead. And when not trying to produce eggs, females are happy to stick to nectar too. Did you know that mosquitoes fly at speeds between 1 and 1.5 miles per hour? That might sound fast, but in an insect world, mosquitoes are actually rather slow. If a race were held between all flying insects, nearly every contestant would beat the pesky mosquito. According to the National Geographic, a mosquito's wings beat 300 to 600 times per second. That would explain that irritating buzzing noise you hear right before a mosquito lands on you and bites. All mosquitoes require water to breed. Just a few inches of water is all it takes for a mosquito to deposit her eggs. Tiny mosquito larvae develop quickly in bird baths, roof gutters, and old tires dumped in vacant lots. Adult mosquitoes may live 5 to 6 months. Few probably make it that long, given our tendency to slap them silly when they land on us. But in the right circumstances, a mosquito has quite a long life expectancy as bugs go. Now we know a little about mosquitoes. Let's talk prevention. According to the Ohio State University Fact Sheet Department in Columbus, if you want to keep mosquitoes under control around your home, you need to be vigilant about dumping any standing water every few days. Remove all water-catching devices. Have good screens on your doors and windows to keep mosquitoes out. Use insect repellent. Consider wearing long sleeves or pants, or just avoid going out from dusk to dawn. In October 2013, 8 Ohio health departments, including Toledo, Ohio, collected over 280,000 mosquitoes, tested just under 180,000, and 229 tested West Nile virus. 4 human cases West Niles have been identified in Ohio. So whether or not that pool of mosquitoes near your home has been identified as West Nile virus positive, you should always take precaution to protect yourself and your family against mosquito bites. The only silver lining to that cloud of mosquitoes in your garden is that they're a reliable source of food for thousands of animals, including birds, bats, dragonflies, and frogs. And in addition, humans actually aren't the first choice for mosquitoes looking for a meal. Thank you.
According to the Healthy Ohio website, 36% of Putnam County adults are overweight. Well, you are what you eat, said a wise old man. All you can think of is Big Macs, Doritos, chocolate chip cookies. You lived your whole life as a moving junk pile. You've reached your mid-50s, and bam! You're in the hospital suffering from a severe heart attack. Why did it have to come to this? What if it's too late? Every living cell in your body is made from the food you eat. If you constantly eat junk food, then you'll have a junk body. When your cell phone is low on battery, you charge it. Electricity is your phone's source of energy. People need energy too, but we can't simply plug ourselves in to get it. Instead, we use food to fuel our bodies. Not all food provides us with the same energy, though. Some foods provide us energy to think, make memories, and perform physical activities. Well, others just slow us down. The key is to make smart decisions when deciding what to eat. It's not as easy as it should be, though. There's a ton of information about nutrition available to us. But how do we know what to believe? This is the question that I ask, along with many others that are concerned about the long-term consequences of what we eat. We know that what we eat can cause food-related diseases such as atherosclerosis, diabetes, hypertension, cancer, and don't forget, America's #1 epidemic, obesity. Obesity is a complicated problem that scientists are still struggling to understand. Obesity has been increasing sharply throughout the years. In less than 40 years, the number of obese adults has increased by more than 50%. Even worse, the obesity rate in children skyrocketed too. This world has come to having the average household meal being brought to you through a drive-through window instead of being made from scratch. People are relying on cheap, fast food instead of plentiful, nutritious meals. 65% of this world live in countries where they are more likely to die from obesity than malnutrition. We can't all live like this much longer. We, as Americans, can make easy and simple changes that will get us on a road to a healthy lifestyle. Make sure you start off your day with a nice whole breakfast. Breakfast, for sure, is the most important meal of the day. A good breakfast fuels you up and gets you ready for your day. It has been proven that most kids and teens who eat breakfast tend to do better in school and have more energy throughout the day. From now on, when eating out, you will make the right decisions. Skip those sugary drinks and order water or unsweetened tea. Those sugary drinks are only slowing you down. You need to resign from the Clean Plate Club. When you're full, stop eating. Don't be afraid to take home a doggy bag. Eating healthy is a super important thing to do. You want to live a life full of adventures with no limitations. So, start moving, stop making excuses, eat right, and get healthy. Just think, the food you eat can either be the safest and most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. Your choice. We can change this world one bite at a time. So, how can you be a healthier you? Thank you.
Would you think that having your baby brother life-flighted to Children's Hospital is scary? Well, that's what happened in our family this past December. My brother Ryder is now 6 months old and very healthy. There are some things that I have learned since then that are related to baby health and safety, and I'd like to share them with you. From the time they are born, there are quite a few things to do to keep them safe and healthy. Since the Center for Disease Control tells us that motor vehicle injuries are the leading cause of deaths in infants in the United States, it's important to know that properly strapping him in his car seat could reduce the risk of death by 71%. There's a class you can take at the hospital that shows you how to do this the right way. Be sure to wash and sanitize your baby bottles in hot, soapy water, and when a baby has started eating from the bottle, do not leave it out for more than an hour. It can grow harmful bacteria. Sudden infant death syndrome, known as SIDS, can be mostly prevented by putting babies to sleep on their backs, as well as using a wearable blanket instead of a regular one, and do not use pillows, bumper pads, or soft toys in the crib. According to the CDC, over 1/3 of infants' deaths in the United States are caused by SIDS. We take my brother to each of his regular well baby checkups. His doctor gives him vaccinations against harmful diseases. She also lets us know about developmental things to help us, such as tummy time. This helps grow strong muscles. It is a good idea to use a baby monitor so you can hear and see your child. It is important to be able to see when he is awake or when he needs something. My parents have me help in lots of ways. I often wash off the baby's binky when it falls on the floor, especially when in public places. When we were at the airport, we use special sanitizing wipes for things that go in babies' mouths. When babies get about 7 to 8 months old, you need to keep small objects off the floor because they start crawling. You also need to, when I was a baby, there was plastic cellophane wrap on the floor and I put it in my mouth. Luckily, my mom saw I was choking on it and was able to pull it out before something bad happened. Baby-proofing your house also includes putting pads on sharp edges and covers on electrical outlets. When you take your baby outside, put sunscreen on him so he does not get burnt. Also, keep him in the shades on a hot day so he does not get overheated. My 5-year-old brother has even learned these important health and safety tips for babies, so anyone can learn. And I'm happy I've been able to keep my brother safer and healthier since being taught about car seat safety, proper sanitizing, and other baby-proofing techniques. I hope you've learned something as well. Thank you.
Every year, for 5 days a week, students all over the country and Ohio go to school. School is intended to be a safe, encouraging learning environment to help students prepare for college. However, this is often not actually the case. According to CDC, which is Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 1,436 high school students in Ohio admitted to staying home from school at least once in a 30-day period because they felt unsafe. Let me repeat that. 1,436 students stayed home from school because they felt unsafe. Bullying is a problem that directly affects the health and safety of students today. I can personally attest to this. In the 7th grade, after lunch every day, we'd go out to recess. And there was this girl. She would come up to me and she would tackle me and knock me to the ground and hit me and bite me and whatever until I yelled out because she'd think a teacher would come, so she'd stop. After months of this, I guess she got bored and she gave up. I never told anyone because I didn't want anyone to know what was going on at school. I was embarrassed and ashamed of what was happening, and I felt I was a terrible person because I couldn't stand up for myself. I'm not the only one who's gone through something like this, and mine's just a minor case. According to the previously mentioned survey, 1,437 students admitted to having been bullied on school grounds at least once in the past year. When someone says the word bullying, we often think of this type of physical bullying. However, there are 3 types of bullying: physical, verbal, and social. School ground bullying is mostly physical and verbal, such as pushing, teasing, shoving, hitting, etc., etc. With the rise of social media, there has also been a rise in a newer type of bullying, cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is verbal and social bullying. Cyberbullying is very common now because of the rise with social media, but it is also very different from other types of bullying because cyberbullying can happen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're never safe from being cyberbullied. Cyberbullying includes anything that is meant to or happens to embarrass or hurt someone's feelings or reputation through the use of electronics. This means harsh Facebook statuses or mean text messages or posting unwanted photos or videos on the internet. According to the 2011 Youth Risk Behavior Survey, 16% of high school students in Ohio admitted to have been being cyberbullied in the past year, and this number is rising. Those who experience cyberbullying are more likely to have poorer grades, low self-esteem, revert to alcohol and drugs, and skip school. These are the same effects one can receive from any other type of bullying. So although it's different, it's just as serious. All right, I know what you're thinking. Gosh, that's terrible, but what am I supposed to do about it? The answer is simple. Speak up, stand up, save someone. Part 1, speak up. If you or someone you know is being bullied, tell someone, a teacher, a friend, a parent. Don't keep it a secret. Don't feel bad for the bully. Movies tend to portray that bullies bully because they have a rough home life or struggling family. Well, this is sometimes true. It is extremely rare. Most bullies bully because they want to feel powerful, not to fill a void. Part 2, stand up. I'm not saying you have to throw yourself in between every physical fight you see, but don't condone or encourage behavior in any way. Take a pledge against bullying, and be careful of what you say or post on social media. Before you hit OK, send, or enter, think, could this hurt someone else's feelings? If the answer is yes, never hit send. What good does it do you to hurt someone else? That's right, none. Parents, the best way to stop cyberbullying is to monitor your teenager's internet usage. This means keeping all devices that have access to the internet in the living room or kitchen where you can monitor what they're doing. This way you know if your teen is being cyberbullied or cyberbullying someone else. Part 3, save someone. When you complete parts 1 and 2, part 3 is naturally soon to follow. According to the 2013 Youth Risk Behavior Survey, 1,294 high school students in Ohio admitted to having attempted suicide. In the same year, 1,437 students were bullied on grounds. Although there is not a complete relationship between bullying and suicide, there is a correlation between the two. So stand up to stop bullying. Who knows, you may not only save someone from depression, or anxiety, or physical harm. You could save their life. Thank you.
What is the C word? I'll give you 3 clues. First, someone you know may have suffered from it. Second, it does not discriminate by gender. And third, tobacco has been known to cause this. I think you may know what I'm talking about. The C word is cancer. As you probably guessed, most people recognize the term cancer, but few are equipped with the knowledge to protect themselves. The 4 important facts I want you to remember are: what is cancer, who can it affect, what the research and data shows, and how to be proactive. Cancer is a disease where abnormal cells divide without control. The cancer cells can spread to different parts of the body with potentially unlimited growth. This is according to the National Cancer Institute. The Center for Disease Control says there are a combination of factors causing cancer, including genetics. And since there are more than 100 different types of cancer, cancer can affect anyone. Remember, cancer does not discriminate by gender. In 2013, the American Cancer Society estimated 1.6 million new cancer cases for men and women yearly. Children ages 0 through 14 add an additional 11,600 cases. The same study shows the top cancers that year were prostate cancer for men, breast cancer for women, and leukemia for children ages 0 through 14. There are a combination of therapies depending on the type and stage of cancer. Dr. Keith Wilson, head and neck surgeon at the University of Cincinnati, says only 5% of Americans are diagnosed with nasopharynx cancer. This type of cancer typically affects Chinese, Koreans, and men. This type of cancer is caused by the Epstein-Barr virus. Dr. Keith Wilson is my mom's surgeon. She is his first nasopharynx cancer patient. We are still trying to figure out how she got this type of cancer. What we do know is that it affects your hearing, swallowing, and speech. Over Christmas break, my mom was feeling very tired and was swollen on both sides of her neck. She tried to self-medicate and did not realize the seriousness of her condition. As it was, in January 2014, she was diagnosed with stage 3 nasopharynx cancer. She is still taking chemotherapy. That is her story, but it does not have to be like that for others. Here's a recap about cancer. Cancer is a disease of the cells. It can affect anyone. Know your research and data, and know your family history. Last but not least, early detection leads to better outcome. Cancer is the C word, and knowledge is power.
Earlier this spring, my mom, brother, and I took a trip to our town library. My mom and I drove, but my brother wanted to ride his bicycle. Of course, the car being faster than the bike, Mom and I beat Andrew to the library. As we were getting out of the car, we watched him shoot out of an alley, across the street, into a parking lot, skid on gravel, and wipe out. Luckily, he escaped this biking accident with just a few scrapes and bruises. On March 18th, 2014, a sophomore named Zach at my high school wasn't so lucky. I found out as I was getting to school the next day that he had been hit and killed while riding his bike on a backcountry road. I go to a small school. Everyone was affected in one way or another. My friend Clarissa sat next to him in geometry class. His twin sister was in my geometry class. He was a member of the track and football teams and a friend to many. The Ohio Department of Public Safety reports that in 2013, there was 1,573 biking accidents. Of these, 1,327 were injury accidents and 19 were fatalities. Interestingly enough, the largest number of these total accidents, 287 to be exact, happened to kids in my age range, 11 to 15. According to the website kidshealth.org, every year nationally, about 300,000 kids go to the emergency department because of bike-related injuries, and at least 10,000 have injuries that require a few days stay in the hospital. And some injuries are so severe that the children actually die from them, usually from head injuries. But there are a few things that all of us can do to be safer when riding our bikes. The National Highway Transportation Safety Administration provides a list of safety tips for children and adults. Before you ride, adjust your bike to fit. Stand over your bike, and there should be 1 to 2 inches between you and the top bar if using a road bike, and 3 to 4 inches if using a mountain bike. The seat should be level front to back, and the height should allow for a slight bend at the knee when the leg is fully extended. Your handlebars should be even with the seat. Check your equipment. Before you ride, be sure that your tires are properly inflated and your brakes work. See and be seen. Choose bright colors to wear to be most easily seen when riding your bike. And remember, just because you can see the driver doesn't mean the driver can always see you. Wear your bike helmet. This is one of the most important things I'm going to tell you today. Everyone, at every age, should wear a bicycle helmet. Be sure to pick a helmet that fits you. Wear it low on your forehead and level on your head. You should be sure to adjust and buckle the straps. While riding, control your bike. Keep both hands on the handlebars at all times, unless signaling a turn. If you need to carry something, use a bike carrier or backpack. Watch for and avoid road hazards. Watch for hazards such as broken glass, gravel, potholes, leaves, and dogs. All of these can cause an accident. Use verbal and nonverbal communication. Make eye contact with drivers and use hand signals to signal turns. When passing other cyclists or pedestrians, state on your left or passing on your left. Learn simple hand signals such as turning left, turning right, and stopping or slowing. When choosing where to ride, it is important to choose a safe spot. Many people choose bike lanes or bike paths because this removes them from traffic. If riding on the sidewalk, make sure that the law in your area allows for that. Many people, however, choose to ride on the road. In all states, bikes are considered vehicles and the cyclist their driver, with the same rights and responsibilities as other motorists. When riding on the road, always ride with the flow of traffic and obey all traffic laws. Be predictable, ride in a straight line, not in and out of cars. And use your signals to alert others of what you plan to do. Stay alert at all times. Listen for traffic and watch for hazards. And, as tempting as it may be, you really should not use headphones when riding your bike. Watch for parked cars. When riding your bike, you should ride far enough away from the curb to allow for the unexpected from cars, such as car doors opening or cars pulling out. While all of the details of Zach's accident have not been released yet, one thing is for certain. Following bike safety tips is something everyone should do. Before you ride, check your equipment, choose bright colors to wear, and wear your bike helmet. While riding, control your bike, watch for hazards, and communicate with others. And remember, when riding on the road, you must follow all of the road rules. Nobody knows if following these bike tips would have saved Zach from the accident that killed him, but I do know that would have saved my brother a few days of pain and will help you stay safe as you ride your bike. Thank you.
They are. They're crazy. My parents are absolutely crazy. Can you believe they only let me have soda on special occasions, and even at that, it's in small amounts? Have you ever wondered what happens when you drink that can of soda? Well, after 10 minutes, 10 teaspoons of sugar hit your system. That is 100% of the recommended daily intake. After 20 minutes, your blood sugar spikes, you have an insulin rush, and your liver turns sugar into fat. After 40 minutes, all the caffeine is absorbed, your blood pressure rises, your pupils dilate, and now you're wide awake. After 45 minutes, the pleasure centers of your brain are stimulated. Did you know this is the same way heroin works? 60 minutes after the soda hit your body, you have a sugar crash, feeling sluggish and possibly irritable, and you're ready for another one. What makes this great tasting soda so bad? Well, weight gain is often caused by soda. The National Softening Association stated that the consumption of soda is now over 600, the 12-ounce servings per person per year. Wow! Someone sure is drinking soda and it's definitely not me. A medical journal called The Lancet demonstrated a strong link between childhood obesity and the consumption of soda. Just one extra soda per day can add 15 pounds to your weight over the course of 1 year. If you are trying to lose weight, cut out soda. Also, one extra soda per day increases the risk of diabetes by 85%, which is stated in the Living Balance book, and can also damage DNA to preservatives that are called sodium benzoate and can eventually lead to diseases such as cirrhosis of the liver and Parkinson's. Basically, it has been shown to cause major health risks. My dad used to drink 2 to 3 cans of pop a day. I know what you're thinking. I was not allowed to have much, but my dad... Anyway, he went in for blood work, and the doctor saw something in his blood that indicated he was pre-diabetic. So he cut out pot for 4 months. At the end of 4 months, he went back in for blood work again. There were no signs of diabetes, and his cholesterol was in the normal range. And now, he only has soda on special occasions. Diet soda is good for you? No! The diabetes care journal doctors found that people who drank diet soda had an increased chance of heart disease and stroke by 36%, and increased chance of diabetes by 67%. Diet soda is not any better. I challenge you to stop drinking soda. Try any fresh lemon or lime juice to your water, or lemon or peppermint essential oils. If you don't feel better at the end of 2 weeks, go back to drinking soda. I bet you'll feel better. In conclusion, my parents are not so crazy after all. Thank you.
Good afternoon. In February of 2012, a gunman entered a local Chardon high school and opened fire. He killed 3 students and injured 3 more. He is currently serving a sentence of life in prison with no chance of parole. Unfortunately, in a way, so are the parents of his victims. They live with the absolute truth that their children are gone, taken from them in a moment of insanity. I tell you this not to sadden or scare you, but to make a point. Chardon, Ohio is less than 100 miles from where we sit at this very moment. If that doesn't make it real to you, there have also been school invasions in Willoughby, Youngstown, Cleveland, and even right here in Columbus. Because of these statistics, I implore you to listen and maybe even help make changes in your school to help keep children safe, because there are no do-overs in these situations. I attend Indian Valley High School. At my school, we practice the allotted drills deemed by the state. We have a fire drill each month, a tornado drill each season. We also practice what is known as a red door drill. A red door alarm signals an unauthorized person is in the building, and protocol tells us to lock the doors, cover the glass, and hide under our desks. Wait, I didn't tell you how many times we practice this drill. Why? Because there is no state mandate on this particular drill. In fact, according to Troy Page, the principal at the Port Washington Elementary School building, said that it was practiced just 3 times this past year, even though they experienced a red door alarm themselves. According to Westward Blog, since 1999, there's been 146 deaths and over 250,000 injuries due to school invasions. Now, since 1999, there's not been a single incident recorded concerning a child that has been hurt or killed in a school fire. So let's do the math. Red door drill. Multiple deaths and injuries, no state mandate. Fire drill. State mandate, no deaths or injuries. Does this weigh out to you? While we all know that it takes time to make big changes in our policies, it'll take only a few minutes for me to tell you some safety guidelines that could just save your life. 1, throw out the phrase, "It could never happen here." Of all the school shootings, there's not been a single parent or teacher involved that has not said the same thing. So know this, it can happen anywhere. So we need to be prepared. Also, according to NBCnews.com, in the event of a daycare shooting in 1999, the shooter told police that he looked at multiple schools before he found just one that had no security at all. Our schools need to have security. 2, once you know that there's an intruder in the building, you have a decision to make. Do you run, hide, or fight? If you're near an exit, you should always run. If you're near an exit and see a shooter, you should still run, but in a crouched or zigzag position. Know that people that run have the highest survival rate in these situations. Next, if you cannot run, then hiding is your best option. Hide in a small, closed area. In the event of the Columbine shooting, the library was open range. So hide in a closet, a cupboard, anywhere you can. If you're in a room without a lock, use your tie or belt to secure the door. And lastly, if you cannot run or hide, then fighting is your last option. Throw things at the assailant. Aim for his head or shoulders. If you're in a group, attack the assailant together. Fighting is your last option. And third, simply be aware. It sounds so redundant, doesn't it? How many times have our parents told us just to pay attention to what was going on around us? If you know someone is planning something like this, tell somebody, a parent, a teacher. There are multiple cases of students being able to stop these things just because they've told someone. In conclusion, school invasions are a very real and very scary thing. In fact, as I wrote this speech, the shooter took the lives of 2 students in an Oregon high school 1 month ago. So remember, 1, don't think it won't happen here, and make sure you're prepared. 2, be ready to make a decision as to whether you will run, hide, or fight. And 3, simply be aware of your surroundings and your fellow students. If you can remember these 3 things, then we'll continue to make sure our schools are what they were meant to be: safe, happy learning environments, and continue to ensure that it can't happen here. Thank you.
Thirst, fussiness or irritability, dry skin, dry or sticky mouth. What about low blood pressure, tiredness, headaches, constipation, a rapid heartbeat, and dizziness or lightheadedness? These painful, maybe dangerous, or just really annoying things could be the result of dehydration. Every year, lots of people get dehydrated. Some of the major causes include sickness, drinking the wrong fluids or not enough of the right ones, and not drinking enough during hot weather or while you're exercising. More than half of your body is made up of water, and when it loses more water than it replaces, you get dehydrated. How much fluid do you drink a day? Is it enough for how much you lose? You should drink around 8 to 10 cups a day, or more during certain times when you lose more. For example, if you were sick with something like gastroenteritis. According to American Family Physician Diagnosis and Management of Dehydration in Children, fluid and electrolyte disturbances from acute gastroenteritis result in 1.5 million outpatient visits, 200,000 hospitalizations, and 300 deaths per year. This is just one example of something that can be caused by dehydration. And you know what? That was just among children in the United States. But have you noticed I've been saying fluids and not just water? This is because water is not always the best thing to drink. If you are going to be playing sports, sweating a lot, or just somehow losing a lot of water, you probably should drink some kind of sports drink. This not only replaces the water in your body, but also sodium, potassium, and other chemicals that your body needs. 100% fruit juice and milk are also awesome things that you could drink because they have water and key nutrients like calcium and vitamin C. But there are also those liquids that take away water from your body. For example, coffee, tea, or pop. But it's really anything that has either alcohol or caffeine in it. My uncle drinks Mountain Dew a lot instead of water. And because of that, he has a tendency to get dehydrated and sometimes passes out. If you do get mild or moderate dehydration, you can usually reverse it by drinking more fluids. But be careful, because severe cases need immediate medical treatment. So if you think somebody is severely dehydrated, call 911 or take them to the emergency room immediately. But remember, the safest and the easiest approach is preventing dehydration in the first place. So, drink lots of fluids. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, as soon as you feel yourself getting thirsty, that means you are already on your way to being dehydrated. So, stay hydrated and drink lots of the right fluids. Thank you.
On April 3rd, in 1974, at 4:30 p.m., people were doing what they usually do on a weekday afternoon. They were at home, at work, at school practicing for spring sports, at the grocery, headed home from work, and even in the McDonald's drive-thru. In Xenia, Ohio, on that fateful day, everyone faced the same thing. An F5 tornado was on the ground. Most of us have a plan of action for if we are at home when a tornado strikes, and many of us have experienced tornado drills at school or in an office building. But do you know what to do if a tornado strikes while you are out shopping, at church, a ballpark, or even in the McDonald's drive-thru? Tornadoes can strike at any time and most any place. No matter where you are, one word will help you remember what to do. Duck. D-U-C-K. The National Weather Service wants you to remember this. It stands for go down to the lowest level of the building. Get under something sturdy. Cover your head and face and keep there until the storm has passed. So what exactly is a tornado? According to AccuWeather.com, a tornado is a mobile, destructive vortex of violently rotating winds, having the appearance of a funnel-shaped cloud and advancing beneath a large storm system. It can range in strength from an F1, that's 50 to 75 miles per hour gust of wind, to an F5 that boasts over 200 miles per hour gusts of wind. That's how strong the Xenia tornadoes were. Approximately 1,300 tornadoes touch down each year in the United States. 60 people are killed, mostly from falling or flying debris. A devastating outbreak of tornadoes can kill hundreds of people. So let's get back to duck. Go down to the lowest level of the building. A basement works best, or a first floor interior room on the lowest level of the building. Get under something sturdy. That means a heavy table or a workbench. Take cover. Grab a pillow, blanket, jacket, purse, or even your hands and cover your head and face. And keep there until the storm has passed. If you are at school, a hospital, factory, or shopping center, go to a small interior room on the lowest level of the building. Stay away from glass-enclosed areas or areas with wide-span roofs such as auditoriums and warehouses. These roofs can and do cave right in. This includes large stores such as Kroger or Walmart. You'll want to head to a bathroom or small room towards the front of the store for safety. Crouch down and cover your head. Many facilities have posted easy-to-read signs to help direct everyone to safety in case of a tornado. Are you frequently in a certain place, perhaps a church or local grocery? Take the time to read these signs so you will know what to do if a tornado strikes while you are there. But remember, when a tornado strikes, duck. Go down, get under, cover your head and face, and keep there until the storm has passed. What if you are on a roadway driving alone? The safest place to be is in a basement shelter or sturdy building. Do not take shelter under a highway overpass. Mistakenly, people think this provides safety, when in reality, it is one of the most dangerous places you can be. It puts you at greater risk of being killed or seriously injured by winds from powerful tornadic winds. Wind speeds are higher under the bridge because of the wind tunnel effect. Remarkably, wind speeds are usually 0 miles per hour on ground level. So, if you can find a ditch or depression to lie on, that is your safest bet. Lie down and remember to duck. 2 years ago, my family was awoken in the middle of the night by some wicked winds. We all know what to do. Head to the basement. We soon ran into a problem when we discovered that the landing of our basement was covered with a mattress that had been left there. We all eventually made it to the basement and no tornado appeared. The lesson we learned that day was to check your plans regularly and make sure that all pathways are kept open. According to the OhioHistory.com archives, the tornado that hit Xenia, Ohio, back in April of 1974, killed 36 people and injured 1,200. Half of the buildings in town were damaged and 300 homes were destroyed. People were out shopping, student athletes were still at school, people were headed home from work. None of them knew what they would encounter that day, but all they needed to do was duck, go down, get under, cover your head and face, and keep there until the storm has passed. How prepared are you for the next storm to hit? I hope you will be more aware of the places you go and where you might seek shelter in a tornado. Your actions not only affect yourself, but also others around you. So take a look around next time you're strolling through the mall, at a ballpark, at a friend's house, or even in the McDonald's drive-thru. Where would you go during a storm? What location would help you to duck? Thank you.
One evening, by the light of the moon, my striped tail tells campers that I'm a raccoon. I creep through the grass, acting timid and shy. A camper offers me a bit of his chicken pot pie. But I see his fingers in the night, and I promise I'll only take one bite. Sadly enough, it only takes one bite from a wild animal or a non-vaccinated pet to get rabies. According to the Centers of Disease Control, rabies is a serious disease. They report that 55,000 people around the world will die from rabies. Half of these victims are under the age of 15. So it's very important to know these 3 bits of information. 1, how to identify rabies in animals. 2, know what to do if you're bitten. And 3, how to prevent rabies. So first, what is rabies, and how does an animal with rabies behave? According to the CDC, rabies is a disease that affects mammals. This disease affects the brain and is caused by a virus. Raccoons, skunks, foxes, coyotes, and bats all carry rabies. Unfortunately, you can't tell if an animal has rabies just by looking at it. However, you can observe their behaviors. Some may act mad and may bite. Some may foam around the mouth. Most often, though, some may act shy and let you get real close to them. This type of behavior is not normal for wild animals. So for my second bit of information, you want to know what to do if you're bitten. It's very important to wash out the wound with soap and water for 5 minutes. Then see a doctor right away. Symptoms of rabies include fever, headache, sore throat, feeling tired, feeling pain or bitten, seeing things that aren't really there, and being unable to move. If you see the doctor right away, you'll receive the rabies vaccination. Just 2 years ago in Clark County, Ohio, a rabid bat bit a 4-year-old boy. In the local paper, the health commissioner said that the boy's parents did the right thing by taking him to the doctor immediately. So if you're bitten by any wild animal or a strange pet, wash out the wound, see a doctor, and report the incident. So finally, my third bit of information about preventing rabies. The best thing to do is never go near or feed wild animals. Vaccinate all your pets against rabies. Spay and neuter your pets, that way they don't wander off into the wild. Also, some states, including Ohio, are vaccinating wild animals. So 3 bits of information may help you prevent a serious bite. 1, how to identify rabies in animals. 2, know what to do if you're bitten. And 3, prevent rabies by vaccinating, spaying, and neutering your pets. After all, one evening, by the light of the moon, the smart camper sees I'm a rabid raccoon. My careful and shy and timid disguise is no way to fool those who are wise.
While I stand up here today, in just these 5 minutes, somewhere in the world, 7 people will attempt to end their lives, according to an intervention service known as crisisclinic.org. This act is known as suicide, or the desperate attempt to escape suffering that has become unbearable. This act is self-generated by feelings of hatred, hopelessness, and loneliness. These people do not want to end their lives, but end the temporary pain they are experiencing. We as friends, family, and coworkers can stop these attempts and become somebody's superhero. This is where our personal experience comes in. For today, we will call her Hope. My best friend since the day I learned to walk. Born just 2 days apart, we felt as though no one knew each other like we did. We could read each other's minds, or so I thought. Since we were just little girls, she was the happiest person I knew, with the help of a healthy home life, a lot of friends, and a bright future ahead of her, until her life came to a sudden dark stop that no one saw coming. As seniors in high school, it's cool to date the wild, rebellious college guy. With the pressure to fit in and feel loved, Hope felt like she was on top of the world with this guy, until she found out he was making 2 other girls feel the same way. After the breakup, Hope told me she was fine and that she didn't really care. And I believed her, because she was always just that naturally happy, carefree person. Well, I was wrong. She started coming to school looking like she didn't care anymore. She didn't do any of her schoolwork, and she didn't want to hang out with me. And when Hope did hang out with me, she acted almost depressed, and she lacked an appetite. With this sudden change of personality and regular habits, I knew something more was going on. Hope constantly said she was fine, just having a bad day. Well, that turned into a month of bad days. So one night, I decided to surprise Hope with our favorite dinner, spaghetti and meatballs, only to step foot into her bedroom and find her passed out on the floor, surrounded by different pill bottles. This vivid image is one I'll never forget. As I reached for my cell phone to dial 911, it's like my fingers were trembling so much, I became frozen when I heard a voice say, "What's your emergency?" It seemed like it took forever for the ambulance to arrive, as it loaded her limp body onto the stretcher, and away she was. I immediately followed the ambulance, thinking that would be the last time I would see her. I sat in that waiting room praying until a nurse said, "Hope would like to speak to you." Hope laid in that hospital bed for hours on end, where she decided to tell me everything, from the 8 times she attempted to end her life to the hundreds of times she just wanted to tell me that her life would soon be ending. Hope explained her situation like this. Pretend you're in a room with 4 walls and no light shining in. And with every attempt to call for help, the walls cave in on you until you're stuck, you're hopeless, and the pressure is unbearable. With this situation in mind, I think it is important that people are aware of the warning signs of suicide, starting with small changes such as eating habits and sleeping patterns, a withdrawal from regular activities with friends and family, and a neglect of personal appearance. With time, these warning signs will worsen. They may mention self-harm or self-hatred, and they could have an unusual focus on death as well. With these symptoms in mind, I think it is important that people are aware of the warning signs of suicide, starting with small changes such as eating habits and sleeping patterns. With these symptoms in mind, I think it's important that people are aware of the 3 tips to follow. 1, speak up. If you notice any of these warning signs, mention them to a parent immediately. Maybe if I would have mentioned these unusual observations about Hope, she wouldn't have had this near-death experience. 2, respond quickly in a crisis. If someone mentions suicide, evaluate the danger the person is in. If they have a plan to commit suicide, they will have the means to do it and a set time. And 3, offer support and help. The best way to help a suicidal person is to offer a sympathetic and listening ear. They may not want professional help, but someone to get them back on their feet. At first, I was mad at Hope for what she did to herself, but then I realized that I was probably the only person that could get her back to normal. As I was, you could be astonished by the people that have wanted to end their lives. Sometimes they may seem like the happiest people you may know. The county I live in has a suicide rate of 14 per every 100,000 people, higher than the national average, according to our Huron County Health District. According to the World Health Organization, about 1 million people die each year worldwide from suicide. That's why it is crucial to notice these warning signs and remember to 1, speak up, 2, respond quickly in a crisis, and 3, offer support and help. Hope was one victim of suicide that was able to be saved. Many are not. Hope is now back on her feet and an even stronger person because of what she experienced. I changed the girl's name in the situation to Hope because I now have hope that all of you can notice these warning signs and become somebody's superhero. Thank you.
Do you know what side of the line you are on? When most people hear that question, they think of borderlines. However, the line I'm talking about is the child abuse line. When does disciplining your child turn into child abuse? Did you know that there are at least 6 child abuse reports made every day in our county and 8,269 made in our country? I've been talking to you for at least 10 seconds, and in those short 10 seconds, at least 5 reports have been made on child abuse. In my spare time, I begin to think about that so-called line and where it really stands. Like the other day, I was standing in the checkout line when a little boy wanted a candy bar. His mother had told him many times, "No, you cannot have the candy bar." But the little boy wouldn't take no for an answer. So he threw himself on the ground, yelling and screaming. The mother then quickly picked the little boy up and smacked him on the mouth. Just then, the manager came over to ask if he could help. The mother had said no, picked up her bags, and left. As I stood there, not knowing what to do, I realized that this so-called line is so fine. By following my 5 tips, you can make sure that you aren't crossing that line. 1. Open communication. 2. Focus on one issue at a time. 3. Take a deep breath. 4. Phone a friend. And 5. Set realistic behavioral goals. In Huron County alone, the child abuse reported rate has increased by 38% since 2010. 1 in 5 children are in danger of being killed every day in our county due to child abuse. Each year, over 62 children are killed in Huron County because of child abuse. Every 3 months, the Huron County Job and Family Services Department receives 365 calls, and of those, 100 require an investigation. The country is even worse. The U.S. is rated one of the worst child abuse countries in the world, according to nationalchildabusestatistics.org. Each year, over 3 million reports are made on child abuse involving more than 6 million children. On average, 5 to 7 children die a day in the U.S. because of child abuse. Each year, over 1,460 children are killed in the U.S. because of child abuse. Child abuse is everywhere, so everyone needs to do their part to wipe out child abuse. Please follow my 5 tips when you are faced with a stressful situation so that way it doesn't turn into abuse. First, it is important to have good, open communication. Second, only focus on one issue at a time. Third, take a deep breath and think through the situation. Fourth, phone a friend and talk it out. And fifth, set realistic behavioral goals for you and your child. Remember, no one is perfect. As you sit here today, I would like all, young and old, to stop and think, what side of the line are you on? And if you are on the wrong side, what do you need to do to make it better? Thank you.
How many fingers am I holding up? How does your head feel? Do you know where you are? These are some basic questions that you might ask someone you suspect has a concussion. These questions correspond with the Mayo Clinic's symptoms of concussions, which, to name a few, include nausea, fatigue, confusion, and headache. According to the Mayo Clinic, a concussion is traumatic brain injury that alters the way that your brain functions. An important factor of concussions that many people overlook is that you do not have to lose consciousness in order to have sustained one, which is why many go unnoticed. I feel that concussions are an important issue because they're on the rise. Clear to Play reported that between 1997 and 2007, emergency room visits due to concussions sustained during teen sports for ages 8 to 13 doubled. It tripled for older youth. I was prompted to inform you of concussions, not just their sheer numbers, which is estimated at 3.8 million in the United States each year by the Center for Disease Control, but also because I've known 2 people who have sustained concussions. My uncle and my classmate both received concussions at separate times due to falls. Luckily, my uncle shows no long-lasting effects of his concussion noticeable to me. However, my classmate was able to play contact sports for multiple years. It seems that concussions have become an everyday thing in sports, and that they are unpreventable. But this is not the truth. The truth is that there are basic steps you can take to help prevent concussions. I've created 3 simple steps that are easy to follow as long as you use this little thing in your head called your common sense. Be smart. Wear the proper gear for the sport. An example of this would be wearing a helmet while batting for baseball or while bike riding. A helmet can help reduce your chances of a concussion. Just think, many concussions occur due to falls. By simply not doing things you know you can't do, or not attempting things you know you'll be hurt trying to do, you can help limit your chances of a concussion. Just take a second to ask yourself, would a sane person be doing this? And finally, just follow basic rules. They're there to protect you. A good example of this would be wearing your seatbelt in the car. Wearing your seatbelt can help prevent multiple injuries, including concussions, in the case of a car accident. Sadly, concussions may still occur, even if you follow all the basic rules. If you believe that you or someone you know has sustained a concussion, stop whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter if there's only 2 minutes left. You need to find an adult, a coach, and get to a doctor. You should continue to cover your concussion until all symptoms have faded away and your doctor's cleared you. Failure to do so may cause second impact syndrome. According to the Mayo Clinic, second impact syndrome is when you receive a second concussion before completely healing from the first. It can cause a rapid and usually fatal brain swelling. Injuries, like concussions, are a fact of life, and you can't hide from them. But there are steps you can take to prevent them. Many schools require coaches to take educational courses on concussions, including the OHSAA, which includes over 800 member schools in Ohio. Just remember, watch for the signs of concussions in you and others, including nausea, fatigue, confusion, and headache. Take the steps to help prevent concussions. Just use common sense. And finally, seek proper medical treatment for concussions. Just remember, it's your noggin. You need to protect it. Thank you.
Hey you! These simple words have the ability to strike fear in the heart of school kids. On average, 1 in 6 students are bullied daily. Now, while bullying isn't something new, bullycide is. What is bullycide? The definition of bullycide is a suicide caused by bullying. Now, if you don't believe it's a real thing, Google it. There's countless websites documenting it that'll make you a believer. One website, localschools.org, states that the only difference between a bully and a terrorist is the amount of planning and the amount of terror inflicted. To a child being bullied, there would be no difference. So what is bullying? Bullying goes beyond name-calling and pushing, destruction of property, physical violence, online threats. Basically, anything that keeps your child from having a positive school experience is bullying. While bullying has always been an issue, however, years ago, children were told to turn the other cheek or to fight back. Unfortunately, things aren't that simple anymore. With the rise in school shootings and bullycide, we must change how we handle these situations. So what are the signs of bullying? Bullying goes beyond anxiety, depression, fatigue, aches and pains, self-mutilation. The list goes on and on. Worse yet are the signs of bullycide. Feeling helpless, giving up possessions, giving away precious hobbies. As stated in the Times Reporter, September 8, 2012, Isaiah Coleman was a victim of bullycide. His mother said not even counseling helped. School officials say that social media played a big part in the rise in bullying. Facebook, Twitter, texting, they all allow children to say things to one another that they would never say to one's face. Luckily, some schools have started an anti-bullying program called Break the Gray. So what do you do? If your child is being bullied, record every incident. taught to the teacher, principal, and even superintendent. Taking your journal is spread resolution. If one is not reached, contact the police. At my school, we have a zero tolerance policy, which states that if you are caught bullying even one time, it is an instant in-school suspension for 3 days. But above all, we must install kindness and respect in our children and teach them to come to adults before things get out of hand. In closing, bullying and bullycide are both major issues. But if we can install kindness and respect in our children, friends, and neighbors, maybe one day, hey you, will be a simple way to get a friend's attention, not a reason for a child to tremble in fear. Thank you.
Okay, didn't they do great? So proud of them. Yay. Mr. Speck, come up here. So we appreciate you being here from our donor from the Ohio Rural Electric Cooperatives, and please share a few comments.
Thanks so much, Judy. I just want to congratulate everyone on an excellent job. This was seriously impressive. The passion all of you showed in your topics, the deeply personal nature of your topics, you know, the interest and the emotional investment all of you clearly had in the topics you chose to speak about was evident. And public speaking is a gift, and it's one that all of you now possess. And as you pursue your educational and career goals in the future, it's one that will be a huge asset for all of you. So on behalf of Ohio's electric cooperatives, I just want to congratulate all of you on an outstanding job. Unfortunately, I do have to leave a bit early, so I won't be here for the awards ceremony. But again, congratulations to all of you, and enjoy the rest of the fair. Thanks.
They're just the cutest darn things. I'll tell you. I just get so excited for you to see the growth you've made since I saw you last till I see you today. That's pretty exciting. So we want to know who you are. So what we're going to do, because this mic cord doesn't go real far, Clayton's going to be first here, and he's going to tell us some things. Then he's going to go around to the back and end over there by Thomas, okay? Then eventually you'll be back up here beside me, okay? All right, your name, your county. It's okay to say that now. The judges have made their decision. Name, county, and one reason why you like being in 4-H. And you were busy this afternoon. This morning. What did you do this afternoon? Or, gosh, I can't even say it. What did you do this morning?
The health and safety skid contest.
And did you do okay?
I got the clock trophy.
Oh, clock trophy. All right. Good job. That's why you're up here first, because you're just raring to go, huh? All right. Name, county. You already said this, but these people didn't all hear it. So, and something you like about being in 4-H.
I'm Clayton Sproul from Tuscarawas County, and I'm doing the health and safety speaking.
My name is Alexander Kendi. I'm from Clark County, and I'm doing health and safety speaking at Science on Electricity. And I think 4-H is a very great opportunity to learn things during the summer.
My name is Sam Vessel, and I'm from Butler County, and I like 4-H because I like the projects.
My name is Amelia Ruggles. I'm from Huron County, and I like 4-H because it gives me experiences that I wouldn't have not doing it.
My name is Anita Ruggles. I'm from Huron County, and I like health and safety speaking.
My name is Tia Holloway. I'm from Henry County, and I like trying new things and having fun.
I'm Katura Crouch from Richland County, and I like 4-H for all the new opportunities that it brings.
I'm Drake Carey from Champaign County, and I like 4-H because the projects are fun.
I'm Aubrey Huyen from Holmes County, and I like 4-H because I learned so much from it.
I'm Ashton Eckleberry from Guernsey County, and I like 4-H because of how fun the projects are.
I'm Cosin Klaus from Guernsey County, and I like 4-H because of the projects.
I'm Thomas Beer from Richland County, and I'm excited. I like it because I like learning new things.
Okay, let's give a round of applause. Good job. You guys can have a seat for a little bit. And once they're off the stage, we'll bring our seniors up. We'll see which one's brave enough to stand beside me. Ah, yeah. You're all right, Robbie. Okay, your name, your county, and something you like about being in 4-H.
I'm Robbie Thiel. I'm from Marion County, and the thing I enjoy most about 4-H is just meeting all the new people, and definitely 4-H camp and being a counselor and meeting all of the little campers and teaching them.
I'm Katie Milhouse. I'm from Preble County, and one thing I like about 4-H is all the life opportunities it opens up.
I'm Virginia Shophocker, and I'm from Fayette County, and I like meeting new people in 4-H.
I'm Kaylin Sigmund. I'm from Athens County, and I like trying new things.
I'm Taylor Sproul from Tuscarawas County, and I like 4-H because I get to meet new people and I like competing in public speaking competitions.
And what were you doing this morning?
The skit contest.
And how did you do in the skit contest?
I got the clock trophy.
Yeah! All right.
Hi, I'm Michaela Roth from Huron County, and my favorite thing about 4-H is all the opportunities it has offered me.
I'm Marissa Credemeyer from Putnam County, and I like 4-H because of the learning experiences.
I'm Emily Erb from Mahoning County, and my favorite things are the cooking projects because they have really good recipes.
I'm JP Ken. I'm from Champaign County. My favorite thing about 4-H is the positive growth you experience in it.
Hi, my name is Abigail DeWitt, and my favorite thing about 4-H is getting to travel on the state trips.
I'm Taylor Troyer from Tuscarawas County, and I like 4-H because it gives me amazing opportunities, like the fact that I've been showing 2 horses this week.
Okay, let's give our seniors a round of applause. Okay, we've got some people who've been working back here behind me, that working behind the scenes, and the kids have the opportunity as state ambassadors to select the opportunity they like to work with, the state event, and I'm always pleased when people pick health and safety speaking. Have we had fun today? Yes, we did. Yeah, they're just all so happy and energetic, like, oh yeah, this is great. Okay, oh, you guys need to come tell us who you are. I'm not going to tell you. Come on.
Hi, I'm Patrick Browse, and I'm from Coshocton County, and I like to learn new things, so I'm in 4-H.
Hi, my name's Kaylin Swihart. I'm from Wood County, and my favorite thing about 4-H is all the different opportunities that are presented to me through it.
Hi, I'm Cheyenne Whitman, and I'm from Williams County, and I really enjoy expressing yourself in a new way through 4-H.
And we have 4 very experienced and talented judges down front, and one of them is going to make their way up there because she's going to speak on behalf of them, I believe. But I want to thank Tammy Strasser and Dave and Ann Shantz and Ashley DeShant for being our judges today. These folks come with lots of years in 4-H and 4-H activities, and Ashley's going to come to represent the group. You can come on up. Ashley was one of you not too long ago. She's getting old now, but 8 years. But I can remember reading her name off as a clock trophy winner years ago. So it's nice to have her coming back and use those skills to share with all of our young folks. So Ashley.
Well, first of all, congratulations to all of you. It is quite an accomplishment to be here. When you think about it, there are only 12 of you in each of the categories, considering how many people competed across the state. So congratulations on that accomplishment. Just a couple of comments from the judges, things that we noticed today. Just be sure when you're standing there that, especially young ladies, that your feet are together. A lot of times if you have your feet spread apart, it is a little distracting, especially if you have longer legs. So this is more toward the older girls. Just in general, slow down. I know we all get into the habit of talking fast. I did it. I mean, all my comment sheets said you talk too fast. So I'm well aware of that. But just slow down, relax. you know your speech better than you think you do. So a lot of times you get kind of caught up in that. And just trying to think otherwise. I'll tell you, today we were really impressed with the content. I think this was the first time in a couple of years where we've been able to say everybody was spot on with, you know, their content, having a topic, having local examples, things like that. And most of us judged at area contests, and we all commented we could see you took what we said at the area contest and you applied it here at the state fair. So congratulations on being here. And I'm going to steal one of Judy's things, but you all need to look at your parent, because I sat in your seat and your parent knows your speech better than you know your speech, believe it or not. They've heard it multiple times in the car, in the shower, wherever you've been. So please take this opportunity to turn and thank your parent or whoever came with you today, because they do know your speech and they're supporting you 100%. And I want to say thank you to the parents that are here, because you keeping your child involved in 4-H and involved in this contest is keeping this contest alive. And I'm really proud to say that it's still here even after all these years. So congratulations to everybody. And if you have any questions, please feel free to come up to the judges afterwards and we can help you out. So thank you guys.
So now you'd probably like to know some results. Yeah? That's what you've been waiting on? Okay. It's my pleasure. Always my pleasure. And it's always my pleasure to be a part of these contests. And I look at some of the young people who were in this contest as little kids, 9 and 10. Some of you are 9 and 10, and how they've grown. And I tease Clayton this morning. I was saying, I remember when you were a little kid. Now you're a big, tall kid now. But I can remember, you just came and big eyes, all these lights and all these things, and, really paid off for him this morning. And so just hang in there. Take those comments every time you speak. Take those comments and grow and learn, because that's the only way that you're going to get better and get more comfortable and do the kinds of things that make you a polished public speaker. And so on behalf of Ohio Rural Electric Cooperatives, I'd like to announce the outstandings of the day. I'll bring all 10 of those kids up here, and then we'll announce the clock trophy winners in each class. So the outstandings of the day in the senior division: Michaela Roth, Taylor Troyer, Abigail DeWitt, Katie Millhouse, and Emily Erb. Congratulations. Outstanding of the day. And to add to that group, the juniors outstanding of the day: Katura Crouch, Clayton Sproul, Anita Ruggles, Tia Holloway, and Amelia Ruggles. Everybody's excited. That's good. All right. And we have a very gracious donor. And I hope when we gave you that thank you note, and I've got some more here if you want to send some more, but when I gave you that thank you note earlier, I hope you sent it, because Adam was just smiling when I said something about thank you notes today. He says, oh, we got a bunch. Well, that's very, very important to keep all this sponsorship up. And we give more outstandings and more clock trophies in health and safety speaking than any other division here at the State Fair. And it's because your donor believes in that. So keep thanking the donor, because that's very, very important. Okay, in the junior division, the clocks, they have different things on them. Okay, Patrick's on top of it. Okay, here's the first one. Amelia Ruggles, congratulations. Next one, junior division, Tia Holloway. Third one, Katura Crouch. Congratulations. The senior clock trophies. And as far as I know, this will be a big old trip for you guys, unless you've been there before, to National Congress. Emily Erb, congratulations. Abigail DeWitt, congratulations. We got one more. Katie Millhouse, congratulations. Okay, what an outstanding group of speakers today. I just sit back, and I don't know if the kids ever look over at me, but I'm just a smiling. This is so great, because I just know what this is going to do for your life someday. So keep growing, keep learning, and you did steal my show down there. I always tell you to thank those who come with you. You can thank them one more time. Thank them the whole way home. That's pretty exciting. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate our judges, our state ambassadors. I appreciate you parents and family and guests. And I hope you have a safe trip home, and we hope to see you next year.